Breaking news, Chris, Godwin, Tristan, Wirfs on the practice field on Thursday. Ready for Monday night's game? Do you think? In Houston? No.
If they're practicing, of course they're playing. I mean,
yeah, well, absolutely. And here's the thing. Todd Bowles refusing to rule them out. He says, well, they ran around. They look pretty good. We'll have to see how they progress. Listen.
Aren't they only practicing 2 days this week, though?
Yeah, they're limited to 2 days. There's a plan, okay? There's a plan to bring these guys back slowly because they've had, no football activity for months and months. So they're going to practice them 2 days, whether that's, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Saturday. It doesn't really matter. Neither one are going to play on Monday Night Football in Houston. It's not going to happen. In fact, I'm pretty sure, almost completely sure, that you won't see Chris Godwin before you turn the calendar to October. And there's a good chance that you won't see Tristan Wirfs either. But if you do, it'll be after 3 weeks, not after 1 or 2. So good news. They're both out there. They're running around. I mean, Mike Evans was fired up, man. We asked Mike about seeing Chris out there, and you could just see him. He was beaming. He's like, man, it's so cool to see him out there again, running around, making plays and stuff. Now, we didn't get to watch him move other than just the warm-ups, the calisthenics or whatever. So I don't know, just what that looks like in terms of cutting or burst or any of that. But it is going to take time. And I have to imagine that Chris will take a little more time even than Tristan will, because Tristan's a, fast healer. Chris had multiple surgeries, more significant gruesome injury, and so it might be a little bit longer. But can you imagine, like, if Godwin is able to come back even some close fraction of 100% Godwin, if you were able to put him and Emeka Egbuka and Mike Evans on the same field, and then not for nothing, but after week 9, the bye week, you may get Jalen McMillan back. Like, that's a problem. Like, it was a problem the other day for Atlanta when, Mike's running the dig route and the safety has to come up and they leave one-on-one with Egbuka and he ends up with the game-winning touchdown. So if you were able to get 3 guys out there of that ilk, or even 4, this offense may do something. They got a long way to go. It's evolving. First game, obviously, for Josh Grizzard. I don't know that he called a great game. I don't know that he called a bad game. It seemed more Dave Canales than Liam Cohen, quite frankly, run, pass type of thing. But, with that many receivers, if they ever get back healthy together, it's a big if, they're really going to have something. So good sign. Tristan Wirfs was also back at practice. Tristan now, I believe, has a chance to play maybe after 3 weeks. Maybe he comes back for week 4. And that would be big if they could get him back. He seems to be a quick healer. He's got the brace on his right knee, obviously. But again, no guarantee. I think he's looking at maybe missing 4 weeks too. Just kind of personally have it in his mind. But if he can come back sooner, he will. In the meantime,
well, I was going to say, they might need him this week if Luke Goedeke isn't
right. Like, I mean, you thought it was a shuffle last week when they moved 3 offensive linemen. How about 4? How about 4? How about, instead of Charlie Heck starting at left tackle and calling it a day, no. We're going to take Graham Barton, move him to left tackle, and we're going to take Ben Bredesen, move him to center. We're going to take Michael Jordan, move him to left guard. Oh, you know what? That's not enough. Goedeke's kind of nicked up. Let's play Charlie Heck at right tackle too. Holy cow. I mean, that is pretty scary duty. So Goedeke apparently has a foot injury, ankle injury, something like that. And it did happen in the game. Now, they haven't ruled him out or anything. I think he's probably going to be questionable at best, maybe a game time type decision. But can you imagine that you end up with 4 different offensive linemen in places where you had hoped that they would never play? And not really coming off the best of games, particularly running the football. Now, I think, will they get better? Yeah, I think they will. But, against Houston and their defense, this is a real formidable defense. I mean, this is not one that, you're going to have your way with the way they did in Atlanta. Like, you're going to have to protect. So I'm I'm thinking this game will change dramatically if you have neither your left tackle or your right tackle.
Yeah. Well, and as you said, the center and the guard are different too. And granted, they played there last week, but
Right.
if Luke Goedeke can't go, I mean that is a makeshift offensive line, and
Oh,
that's not what
totally.
you want in a primetime matchup on Monday Night Football, where you've struggled in prime time for years now,
That is true.
and 4 of your 5 offensive linemen are not what you hope to have at the beginning of the season. Now, some of the guys are there. I mean, Barton's still there and Bredesen's still there, just not in the position that you planned on and where they spent most of training camp and the season and off season, of course, prepping for.
And in their best position, the position they play
Yes.
the best. And worst yet, you're facing two of the top 10, 15 edge rushers and Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. That is, and Sheldon Rankins inside on top of that. That is really tough duty. Like, these guys are going to get after it. They are. They get after everybody. And Baker Mayfield's going to have to be way more sharp. They need to find a way to run the football. That was a problem in week one. Josh Grizzard calling his first game. You got to execute. You got to be physical. You have to bring some physicality to the game. You have to run the football. Baker took a lot of that on himself. He said, I kind of didn't get rid of the ball quick enough, didn't take what was there for me. He's going to have to do that against Houston. And all you need to know about the Texans defense is they played a really good Rams team offensively, and they lost the game, but they only gave up 14 points. And almost universally, if you can hold a team to 14, you're going to win. Unfortunately, they scored 9. Okay. So they're going to be at home. It's a home opener. Last time the Bucs played there, if you remember, they were in a shootout and Baker Mayfield brought them back. I think he threw a touchdown pass. I believe it was Mike Evans, about 45, 46 seconds to go. And you thought, okay, game over. And no. All of a sudden, CJ Stroud, in what was still a highlight for his career, brings them down. Bip, bip, bip. They score a touchdown. Time runs out and the Bucs lose. And it was a shootout. I don't expect a shootout this time. I think it's going to be much lower scoring than that. But I don't think you want CJ Stroud to have the ball last, because Baker had it last and scored with 46 seconds, and that was not enough. So this will be a really tough game. And, for all the hand wringing and the close game that Atlanta was, end of the day, they don't rush the passer worth a damn. They've been last in the league the last couple of years. I know they drafted a couple guys. They were not factors in this game. And you're not going to have that situation every week. This is going to be a much, much tougher test because these are elite pass rushers. So we'll see what game plan he dials up. I think it's going to be much harder than Atlanta, to be honest with you. The only positive is that, well, the Rams have a tremendous defense, and I think they were responsible for holding them to 9. Houston did not play well offensively, and they've lost some offensive linemen since that game.
Mm-hmm.
So they got backups playing on the offensive line all the way across, and that could help the Bucs. But beyond that, they got to find a way. Man, the last time they played down there was just crazy shootout game. CJ Stroud gets the ball last. I think the Bucs scored with about 46, 47 seconds left, and they allow him to go down the field and win the game. So not a lot of good vibes from that, but we'll see. A chance to go 2-0, and
Well,
big.
the Bucs got some good news in the secondary, or potentially some reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Izien and Morrison both practicing.
Yep. Morrison will probably be mostly special teams, although Todd Bowles did not rule out the fact that he could see some downs on the outside, especially if you have long drives like they had last week, in Atlanta, that 91-yard drive. So he'd like to get as he said, his feet wet. And then, Izien being back is huge, although, I thought they did a really good job with Jacob Parrish playing in that slot corner position. Now, Parrish is also able to go outside if you need him. Tyke Smith, I think, led the team in tackles last week. So the secondary actually held up pretty well, with the exception of like one almost cataclysmic slip by Jamel Dean towards the end of the game. And fortunately for him, Antoine Winfield Jr. knocked the guy out and took the ball away in the process. But that was a fourth down pass that almost would have scored a touchdown had they not knocked it away. So yeah, it's you know, I, I think I think their defense has to play better. I think they need more pressure on the quarterback, obviously. We saw a sack by Hassan Reddick. Servatier Dennis had some mistakes, and they were glaring. Overall, I think he played okay, but he'd like to get a couple plays back. But Jamel Dean, we talked to him, or I talked to him today, and it's interesting because he had a pretty good game. He should have had an interception in that game, but he has terrible hands, and he has one pick in the last, I don't know, since 2022. Um, but in talking to Jamel, he's the one that took that enormous pay cut earlier this week. He went from maybe around 12.5 million dollars to 4.5 million with a $750,000 performance bonus. And in talking to him, we're like, they kind of had leverage because they waited until the third preseason game where most teams are cutting down their roster. If he were on the free market, he would have definitely gotten a job. But how much money did everybody have, right? So the Bucs said, "Hey, we're going to knock you down from 12, 13 million to about 4.5 million, which is really significant pay cut. Chance to earn more money in terms of performance bonus and stuff like that." And Dean explained to us on Thursday that, look, he goes, it wasn't about the money. Like I got, and not to brag about it, but he's like, I got plenty of money. Like it was, he goes, I didn't want to start over. If I go somewhere else, I'm essentially starting over. I spent a lot of time here. My home is here. So I would just as soon, play. Now, next year, I think the writing's on the wall because is doing this deal, they voided the last year of his contract, which was not guaranteed anyway. But in 2026, he's going to be a free agent, and I'm not sure he sticks around that long. But for the time being, man, he handled it very classily. He just, understood that there's some competition behind him. He's still holding down the starting job and he wants to hold it down. But in exchange for taking less money, he's like, okay, cool, I'll be a free agent. And they paid Zion McCallum. You can't pay everybody on this defense. So I think he's the odd man out. And I think eventually you're going to see someone like Morrison or Parrish replace him this year because of what's coming down the pike. But Jamel had a good game right up until the point where he fell down in coverage on I believe it was about 15 or 20 seconds left in the game. And fortunately for him, Antoine Winfield Jr. knocked the guy out, like just separated him from the ball. He was woozy after that. It was a huge play, but if you watch it, Jamel Dean just kind of like falls down. It's like, wow, that was not a good play. But there's a lot of good things on tape. He should have had an interception, all of that. When you think about Dean, though, like imagine what he's overcome. This guy had 2 ACL surgeries in high school, 2. And then he goes and has another one in college. Like my wife had an ACL tear and we still kind of going through it. I cannot imagine more than one. Like seriously, this is it's a major surgery. It's a major deal depending on, what else you have involved in there. But so I don't know. It should be I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think these two defenses will kind of keep the score down. But the Bucs are going to have to be a lot better on offense than they were last week, or they will. This offensive line, the way it's consisting right now, especially if Goedeke's out, I think that's a major negative against this Houston team. Hey, we'll talk about USF playing the University of Miami Hurricanes this weekend. Of course, a chance to go 3-0. Huge game for them. But first, get on down to International Plaza Mall. That's where you're going to find Breitling Boutique. The Breitling Company has been making the best Swiss watches now for over 140 years. They've been in International Plaza for 5 years. Now, that's where you're going to go and get the best customer service you've ever had. It's in the center of the mall, second floor. Go up there, spend some time, have a drink. They're going to tell you about their beautiful watches, men's watches, the Navitimers, the Chronomats that they're known for. They also have women's watches. These are sports watches. They're extremely durable. They're beautiful. And she can pick from an array of different colored wristbands. And while supplies last, and that's the key, Breitling Boutique is celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary with 32 different team watches, 32 teams, 32 watches, each one representing the club. For example, you go to tampabay.com, you're going to see the Bucs watch. It has the red face on it as well. and the logo and all of that. These things are terrific timepieces and the collector's items on top of that. Again, get down there because it's while supplies last. And yes, they did have one at Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. Make sure you go, and when you do, tell them you heard about it here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. It's Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. Big college game this weekend, Steve. USF going down to Miami. And my concern would be that maybe the Bulls are a little too high in the saddle. And what I mean by that is everybody from USA Today, The Athletic, you name the periodical, they are singing USF's praises because right now, as we sit here, they're the best story in college football.
They are. And, they a win this week.
Oh, my God.
Goodness. I mean, to start the season with 3 top 25 wins.
Oh.
2 of them on the road against in-state rivals or
insane.
It would be, that's a fairy tale start to a season.
Absolutely.
We talked before the season going, USF could start 0-3 and be the best team, the best power or non-power 4 school in the country.
Yeah, because the schedule was so rough.
Right. But they're 2-0 now, and they have a chance going down to number 5 Miami to pull off. You kind of went, well, if they can get 1, maybe they get 2, get 3.
There's no way. There's no way you would imagine them getting 3, and yet they certainly have a chance, right? Because when you can go into the swamp and do what they did, when you have that kind of defense and the grit that those guys have, anything is possible. Anything.
It is.
What I would say is Miami's not going to be surprised. I don't know that Florida was, although, Boise, while ranked, wasn't the Boise State that they were a year ago.
I don't think we knew what Boise State was.
Yeah, I think a lot of times these preseason rankings and what you start with in week 1 is based largely on last year. And Genty was the deal last year. I mean, that guy was just a terror. And even though they had a quarterback back, I could see why people liked him. But they may have been a little overranked, without having played a game. I think that's possible.
Oh, absolutely. But I do think this week is going to be the toughest matchup for South Florida. And because I think Miami's offense and defensive line is better than anything that they've seen.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And, that's really where the Power 5 school or Power 4 schools can separate from the non-Power 4. You can get some skilled guys. You can have a great quarterback like Byron Brown. You can get some receivers. But to have enough depth and strength on the lines is where the non-Power 4 schools struggle. They'll have players. They don't necessarily have whole units.
Right.
And Miami's offense and defensive line is really good. And we saw that against Notre Dame in the opener.
That's what should get USF is the fact that these other teams can come at you in waves, right? They're not asking the same 11 guys to play 75 snaps. So theoretically in the fourth quarter, you should get worn down. That was not the case against Florida, which is remarkable, right? But Miami certainly is loaded. And I'm not a big Carson Beck fan. The Miami quarterback, of course, came from Georgia. But I think he's extremely capable. He's been in a lot of big games. I don't expect him to have a bad game, even though USF's defense has kind of led things. But I think Beck is a capable quarterback at the right time for Miami, and this will be their toughest test. And the other thing is, how do you handle success? And you obviously got to learn how to handle failure to be in this game. But now everybody's singing your praises for a couple of weeks, as Nick Saban would say, that's just nothing but rat poison, right?
Yep.
They're feeding you all that rat poison.
But I also think, though, and depending on how they talk about it and address it, but they're playing with house money.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
can lose this. They could get blown out in this game. And they're still the favorite for the college football playoff.
No question.
From the non-Power 4 schools. They run the table, or even maybe they have one hiccup along the way and they win the American. They're probably the representative based on the schedule.
Yeah, well, you got wins already over 2 ranked teams,
Right. They're kind of playing with house money.
They are. They are. The long term is that.
Yeah. Now, you don't want to go down and get blown out, and hopefully they come out with a win. But,
Can you imagine that? Who would have said that you got Boise at Florida at Miami, that there was even a remote chance you could win all 3? Just the fact that they're in this position is remarkable, right?
I'm not a betting guy, so I don't know, but I'm wondering if you would have put money down at the beginning of the season that the USF, not against the spread, but,
Yeah, just straight
flat
up.
out beats all three teams. What I don't know what the payout would be. It'd be incredible to
Oh
know
my
now.
God. Yeah. It's just incredible. And I do think it's going to have to do a lot about, and we won't know this, but like how they prepared, what
Yep.
was their focus? They're getting all this attention. People are pulling them and wanting them to do this and that. Like it's tough. It's gloriously tough because you're relevant all of a sudden.
Yep.
But then you can start believing your own press. And that's what's dangerous. What's dangerous if you think that you've arrived, because Miami's going to knock your block off if you think that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how Coach Golish and his staff prepares the team, but it helps to have an experienced quarterback in Byron Brown too.
Absolutely,
It's
and
not
he's
like they've got a freshman or a
phenomenal.
first-time starter.
Nope.
He started 2 years ago. He played 4 games last year, 5 games.
Yeah.
He's experienced. He's seen a lot, and that's really for a non-power 4 school. If you got a good quarterback like that, you got shot.
And let's just say it. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate, or should be.
Yes.
I mean, the guy's averaging around 245, 250 yards passing, running for over 100 a game.
No, he wins this week. He is the
he's the odds-on favorite, right?
I mean, he got a long season to go, and unfortunately, the best competition he's going to face is past him. But yeah, he would be the favorite through 3 weeks, no question.
And we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but if they do what I think they're going to do and end up that team, right, wins the conference, Power 5 type deal, gets an invite, I don't think you're going to see Alex Golish pass this year. In fact, he may have already sealed his fate with the win over Florida.
Well, possibly, but here's the thing, and I know people have worried about it, and the more they win, if he gets you in the playoff, okay.
What do you care, right?
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
If he gets on to bigger things, great. Like,
yeah.
Look, you took this program from 1 FBS win in 3 years under Jeff Scott. And if you get to the playoff in your 3rd year and then you go somewhere else,
You've earned it. You've earned it. Yeah, say thank you and be happy. Yeah, I agree with you.
There shouldn't be one person upset, worried about it. Like, enjoy this ride. Enjoy
this.
That's
what it is. Yeah.
I mean, this program was dormant for years.
Oh, God, yeah.
And what it is now, like, forget about next year and where Golish may or may not go. Like, who cares?
Right.
Like, enjoy this right now. Because this is incredible. This is why you watch sports. This is why you follow sports and root for teams. You want winning seasons. And if your coach leaves, he leaves.
Right. Yeah, listen, and I know a few. There'll be no shortage of candidates and really good ones. Yeah. I mean, the good news is that Golish and others have made this an extremely attractive place to coach college football. And
I mean, the other part of this, in my alma mater, Luke Fickell took Cincinnati to the playoff.
Sure.
The first, and that was only a 4 team, so it wasn't the automatic bid for a non-power 4.
Yeah.
And then a year later, he goes to Wisconsin. But thank you, Luke Fickell. Like, you built that program.
You made us relevant. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't think the replacement they hired is very good, but and they haven't even come close to matching up to that. But Luke Fickell not only took him to the playoff, but got him in the Big 12, basically.
Exactly.
And there's another round of consolidation, whatever, coming in football. We don't know when and we don't know to what extent, but a berth in the playoff certainly helps your bid to go join, whether it's whatever conferences look like in 5 years.
No question.
So if Golish gets you
there,
the
timing is perfect. Yeah.
And you enjoyed the ride and he goes somewhere else and good luck, and we'll be rooting for you wherever you're at, as long as you're not playing us. And like, thank you. Like, don't be upset.
Oh, by the way, the most coveted job in college football, not among the blue bloods, will be right here at USF.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to get a list of candidates you can't imagine.
Yeah.
They'll want to part. Now, what I also wonder about, and I'm getting way ahead of myself, if Golish leaves, does he take Byron Brown with him?
No, he might go pro anyway.
Well, that's possible too.
He can go to the draft as well. So
right now he's a Heisman favorite.
Right.
I mean, the guy's averaging about 250, 245, 250 yards in the air and about nearly 100 on the ground. So
the other part about fans worrying about Alex Golish leaving, and we talked about this with, Steven Stamkos.
Right.
And there were people, including media members,
the hand wringing. Yeah.
I'd rather not win a Stanley Cup and keep Stamkos than win another Stanley Cup. It's like,
no, you wouldn't.
Would you
said
rather?
it, but no,
Would you rather
wouldn't.
USF have another 6-6 season, go to a bowl game, be 7-6 to keep Alex Golesh, or would you rather go to the playoff, or have a shot at it?
Oh yeah,
Give me the playoff and the shot at the conference title. This USF's never won the conference, never in their history.
yeah.
They got
and
to
they
number
should
2
have
in the
by now.
country.
They really should have by now.
Absolutely. And so if Alex Golesh gives you a shot to do that this year, and then he leaves, okay, great. But stop worrying about next year now. Like, enjoy this ride. This is fun.
Maybe the best time of USF football outside of when Levitt got him to number 2 with a win over West Virginia and sold out Raymond James. But
they win.
Right,
they win this
right
week. They win this week. This might be the.
It would eclipse it. I think it would eclipse it because, listen, it wasn't just West Virginia. You're talking about blue bloods here, right? Florida, okay, Boise, maybe not so much, but you beat Florida and Miami in the same season. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both relevant. They're both good.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's huge. It's freaking
both
huge.
top 25 teams. I mean,
but
incredible.
I would just say, don't be surprised if this is a different type of game for them, because part of me wants to say, 1, Miami is better, and 2, you've had an awful lot of like flowers this week, right? Like the last 2 weeks, you start believing, and like I said, as Saban calls rat poison. How focused are you for this game? Like, were you just as hungry as you were at Florida against Boise? Like that, I can't measure. We won't know until they kick it off. We won't. But it's human nature. It's human nature. You start thinking, wow, we're pretty good. And then all of a sudden you get smacked in the face. So how you handle success is just or more important than how you handle failure. But can you imagine if they upset Miami, Florida, and Boise? Holy God. That's a gauntlet for any team. Yeah. I don't care if you're Alabama, right?
Yep. And the most amazing thing about this game, well, it's not the most amazing, but you're going to watch it on the CW.
Oh, God. That's right.
So the CW has the D broadcast package for the ACC.
Wow.
Which means they get the lowest of the low games. The ESPN takes the A games, and ACC Network gets some.
SEC
and
Network,
whatever the other. Well, it's ACC, so it's not the SEC Network.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah.
Whatever partners the LCACC has as far as broadcasting.
Right.
Yep. And then CW gets the D. They never dreamed of a top 20 matchup.
Oh, hell no.
Never. This is their biggest game ever in the couple years that they've been doing this package.
I mean, based on the rankings, it's the biggest college game of the weekend, is it not? Is there a bigger one?
What Georgia Tennessee is this week? I don't remember where.
That's pretty big. I think Tennessee's going to beat them, by the way, but that's pretty big.
Yeah, there's a few, but I mean, this is the one that no one thought was coming. I mean, Georgia Tennessee, you kind of knew. Who else we got this week? Wisconsin, Bama.
Yeah, although Wisconsin's going to get
Wisconsin's
tuned.
not ranked. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they're not.
Georgia Tennessee is a higher 6-15.
That's the big one. I think Tennessee's going to win it too.
Yeah.
I think they're going to take down Georgia.
I mean, Florida LSU's this weekend.
That's a good one.
That's a huge
but
game.
It's a must-win game for the coach,
and that's a night game in the Swamp.
Right.
I mean that. I hate to say that it's a must-win for Billy Napier because, like I said last year, you got off to such a horrible start, and you're like, he's gone, and then resurrects it. Like we've seen this before with him, but
I'll say this: no one's going to fire him this early. No one.
No.
And the reasons are pretty obvious. One, you owe him a lot of money, but that's secondary to even a bigger reason is this. When you go to an interim coach, the minute you fire him, every coach on that staff knows that they're going to have to find a new place to live, that their kids are going to be going to a new school next year, that they need to get that job while there's jobs out there. And so do you think you're spending all your time with game plans? It's human nature. Like, it's just going to get worse. And then you potentially make an interim coach a candidate when he would never ordinarily be. So there's just no upside to it.
Well, and not only that, but all your players are already starting to look elsewhere.
They're checked out. Yeah.
Now,
that's even bigger, actually.
But the one advantage to firing a coach before the end of the season, not this early, if you know who your next coach is,
you can particularly
if they don't have a job, whatever.
Yeah.
If you can announce that coach before the portal opens,
that's big.
It may save your roster turnover.
Yeah, it's big.
The hard part is if when you fire a coach at the end of the season, the transfer portal opens quick.
Right.
And players are like, I don't know who the coach is, man. I'm gone. Like,
right.
But if you already know who your next coach is and can announce that, meetings can happen, everything else, and maybe you can save a lot of your roster. Because the hard part about in college football now, when you fire a coach, I mean, Bill Belichick comes in 70 new players.
Mm-hmm.
New Mexico's coach comes in 75 new players. Like, new coaching staff, the players leave. They're gone.
Yeah, because they know that they're not handpicked by the new guy. The new guy's bringing in his own team.
Right. So, I mean, it's complete roster turnover, and then it's a crapshoot at that point for the first year or two.
Yeah.
Like, and they haven't had a chance to recruit, et cetera. But, after 3 weeks, I don't think it's time. And the other part is who would take over at that point. There's lots of things to consider. But
right.
The other big game this week is Texas A&M at Notre Dame. That's a big one, too.
Notre Dame needs a bounce back. A&M's really good. That's going to be a competitive game. I like that one. But I'm all in on Florida, Miami, man, or South Florida, Miami. That's going to be huge.
4:30 on the CW.
C-Dub. Why is that game not on ABC or ESPN? I don't know.
Because it was picked before the season. Because it's early enough in the season.
Okay.
All the first 3 or 4 weeks are already picked before they.
Gotcha.
For the most part, the networks and the times are picked at the beginning. This was announced months ago.
Gotcha.
And nobody expected South Florida to be 2-0.
Yeah, no one did. Wrap it up with this. I guess you would say happy trails to the Tampa Bay Rays, who lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. We've given them the city of the Windy City. They got blown away. Really weird type of deal that they've been going. They won 7 in a row, and then they lose 2 out of 3, and then to Cleveland, and now you go into the worst team in the majors, and you drop 2 out of 3.
Hey, they're not the worst team in the majors. They're not the Rockies. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true. They're next to the Rockies, next to worst team, and then not only that, but like, you had opportunities. Sampson, your leadoff batter, had 4 hits. He was on base all day. And you scored the only run you had, but can't get a big hit anywhere. It's like you guys are playing the freaking White Sox. You're not pitching well. You're not hitting the ball well. And now you got to go play on the north side against the Chicago Cubs. I promise you they're a better ball club.
Yes.
I just think this is kind of it. I think this was the last gasp.
As we're recording this Thursday night, Seattle is winning. And that's the team
that's who you're chasing for the final one, yeah.
If that holds,
you're
6.5 games out with 16 to play.
Yeah, I mean, come
on. And 3 other teams you have to jump over before you get to Seattle.
I mean, firstly, you'd basically have to win all but maybe 1 or 2 of the games, I think.
If the Rays win out, they'll finish 88 and 74.
And that's the best you can do. That's the best.
That's correct.
I thought 88, 87 wins would get you the last wild card, and it may still. But, yeah, if that's where you're at right now, I mean, they're not playing good baseball. It's tough. It's been tough to watch. It's been a struggle all year for them. The whole Steinbrenner, all of that.
And if Seattle goes just 500 the rest of the way, they're at 86 wins.
Yeah, see, and they're going to go well above 500.
Which means just to get to there, you've got to go 14-2.
Yeah, not happening. Not happening.
And the Rays don't have a lot of the tiebreakers against the teams they're chasing, which means you got to finish a game ahead. So, I mean, they're not mathematically eliminated yet, but.
No, but realistically, everybody in that clubhouse knows we're not going to spend October in the postseason. They all know it,
Mm-hmm.
And it's too bad. We can pick this apart with respect to the team itself, the stadium, the trauma of leaving the Trop, all of that is all part of it. But yeah, not a good year. Not a good year, to say the least. All right. Well, big game, of course, coming up on Sunday night or Monday night football. Monday night football. So we'll be back to talk about that. I don't know when we're going to do it because it's going to be very late. I'm not going to have much time to get back, not even get any sleep, but catch a plane in the morning. But we will talk about that Monday night game. Thank God it starts at 7 p.m. Doubleheader, of course, that night on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
And we'll see if the Bucs can get to 2-0. If they get to 2-0, that's going to be huge for them. They'll come home and they have the home opener against the Jets in their white throwback uniforms, and then it's also home against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So that would be a good time to get some players back healthy as well.
Hey, if you want some hockey this weekend,
is there hockey?
Training camp opens Thursday for the Lightning.
Wow.
But the NHL, before training camp opens, does prospect tournaments with all the teams. So
Really?
it's always 4 teams: the Lightning, the Panthers, the Predators, and the Hurricanes.
And where are those held?
So this year, it's here in Tampa.
Okay.
So the games are at the Advent Health Center Ice Complex in Wesley Chapel.
Nice.
So the Lightning will have games Friday night, Saturday night, both at 5 o'clock. They're free and open to the public. And then they'll play again Monday at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
And then there are other games 3 hours before that for the other team. So you play each of those teams one time. And it's all the young prospects. So Sam Riley, the guy they traded Isaac Howard for, he'll be there. He's playing in this tournament. And a lot of the younger prospects, draft picks, and the guys, that aren't probably going to make the Lightning roster this year, possibly have an impact later in the season, but more for the future. So, but it's free and open to the public at Wesley Chapel. Friday, Saturday at 5 o'clock, Monday at 3 o'clock.
Well, you got to go. You got to go see these young stars in NHL hockey, which I can't wait till it starts. We're entering the best time of the year.
Yep.
We're going to have all the sports going. October, obviously, in the postseason for baseball. Football still right in the middle of cranking up. Hockey gets going. It's just phenomenal. So keep it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Go see our friends at Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. Check out the NFL team watches as well as watches for your wife or girlfriend. It is Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. Make sure you let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. For Steve Versnick, I am Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day, everybody.